The door of the small-town bakery swung open with a jingle that pierced the quiet morning air, but it was the man's trembling voice that shattered the peace. "Please," he whispered, his eyes glistening with unshed tears as he placed a fresh loaf on the counter. "Wrap it the way my wife used toe-folded corners, tied with that red ribbon, just like she did every Sunday for 50 years. In that moment, the young clerk behind the counter froze, her hands hovering over the paper, realizing this wasn't just about bread. It was a desperate grasp at a love long lost, a ritual to keep a ghost alive. Harold Thompson had been coming to Elm Street Bakery for months now, ever since Martha passed. Each visit was a pilgrimage, a way to cling to the fragments of their life together. At 82, Harold's steps were slow, his back bent from years of factory work, but his memories were sharp as the knife that once sliced their homemade loaves. The bakery smelled of yeast and cinnamon, a scent that transported him back to their tiny kitchen where Martha's laughter filled the air. She had a special way with everything, especially the bread. "It's not just food, Harry," she'd say, her fingers deftly folding the paper, securing it with a ribbon she'd saved from their wedding bouquet. "It's love wrapped up tight." Now, without her, the world felt unwrapped, loose and fraying at the edges. The clerk, a girl named Emily with freckles dusting her nose and hair tied in a messy bun, had noticed him from the start. She was 23, fresh out of community college, working here to save for a dream she barely believed in anymore. At first, Harold's request seemed odd, a quirk of old age. But today, as he stood there, his gnarled hands clutching the counter, she saw the pain etched in his face. "Sir, I'll try my best," she said softly, her voice catching. She reached for the brown paper, folding it carefully, mimicking the description he'd given before. The ribbon was red, just as he asked, though it wasn't the same one Martha used. As she handed it back, their eyes met, and for a split second, Harold saw a flicker of Martha in her kindness. That afternoon, as the bakery buzzed with lunchtime customers, Harold lingered longer than usual. He sat at a corner table, unwrapping the bread slowly, savoring each fold as if unveiling a treasure. Crumbs fell like memories onto the napkin. He thought of their first date, a picnic by the river where Martha had packed sandwiches in that same style. "Why the ribbon?" he'd asked then. "Because life needs a bow, Harry. Something pretty to hold it together." He'd laughed, pulling her close. Now, alone, the laughter was gone, replaced by a hollow ache. Emily watched him from behind the counter, wiping flour from her apron. Her own life was a mess of loose ends, a broken engagement, a father who left when she was 5, dreams of becoming a writer gathering dust. Something about Harold tugged at her. During a lull, she approached with a cup of coffee. "On the house," she said, sliding it over. "You look like you could use it." Harold looked up, surprised. "Thank you, miss. Emily, right? That's my granddaughter's name." Or was. His voice trailed off, and Emily sat down uninvited, sensing the story brewing. He began tentatively, words spilling like dough from a bowl. Martha had been his anchor through wars, layoffs, the loss of their only child in a car accident decades ago. She wrapped everything with care, gifts, lunches, even bad news. Said it made the hard things softer. Emily listened, her heart swelling. She shared a bit, too, how her mom worked double shifts, how she felt invisible in this town. By closing time, a fragile bond had formed, two strangers connected by unspoken grief. The next day, Harold returned, his request the same. Emily wrapped the bread with more confidence, adding a small flourish, a sprig of lavender from the shop's garden, like Martha might have done. She loved flowers, Harold murmured, touched. Their conversations deepened. He spoke of dances under starry skies, of Martha's battle with cancer that stole her too soon. Emily confessed her fears of never amounting to anything. "You're young," Harold said. "Wrap your dreams tight. Don't let them slip." Weeks turned into a routine. Harold's visits became the highlight of Emily's day. She started baking special loaves just for him, rye with caraway seeds, Martha's favorite. One rainy afternoon, as thunder rumbled outside, Harold shared a photo from his wallet. Him and Martha on their wedding day, beaming. "She was my everything." Tears welled in Emily's eyes. "She sounds amazing. I wish I had someone like that." But life in the bakery wasn't all quiet moments. Mrs. Hargrove, the owner, a stern woman in her 60s, noticed the lingering chats. "Emily, focus on work. Not chit-chat, she snapped one day. Emily nodded, but inside, rebellion stirred. Harold was more than a customer. He was a window to a life of enduring love, something she craved. As autumn leaves began to fall, Harold's health waned. His cough grew persistent, his steps faltered. Yet he came, rain or shine. One evening, after closing, Emily found him outside, staring at the sky. "The stars remind me of her," he said. She walked him home, a modest cottage filled with Martha's touches doilies, faded photos. Inside, he showed her the ribbon collection, each one a story. "Take one," he offered. Emily chose a blue one, tying it around her wrist. "For luck," she whispered. Their friendship blossomed amid the flower dust. Emily started writing again, inspired by Harold's tales. She penned short stories about lost loves and second chances, reading them to him over coffee. He listened, eyes sparkling. "You've got talent, girl. Don't waste it like I did with my regrets." One crisp morning, Harold arrived early, his face pale. "Wrap it the way she did, please." Emily did, but noticed his shaking hands. "Are you okay?" He waved it off, but as he left, he collapsed on the sidewalk. Panic surged through Emily. She called 911, riding with him to the hospital. Doctors said it was pneumonia, complicated by age. Sitting by his bed, she held his hand. "You can't leave yet, Harold. Not without more stories." He recovered slowly, but the scare changed things. Emily visited daily, bringing bread wrapped just so. In those hospital rooms, secrets unfolded. Harold admitted he'd been estranged from his son, Jack, for years after a fight over money. "I was stubborn. Lost him like I lost Martha." Emily urged him to reach out. Life's too short for loose ends. Back at the bakery, Emily's writing took flight. She submitted a story to a local contest, winning 3rd place. Harold beamed when she told him. "See? Wrapped with care." As winter approached, a chill settled not just in the air but in Harold's spirit. He spoke less of the past, more of fears for the future. Emily, sensing his isolation, invited him for Thanksgiving. No family should be alone. He hesitated, then accepted. The day arrived. The bakery closed early. Emily's mom, a weary nurse named Clara, helped prepare. Harold arrived with a bottle of wine, wrapped in paper and ribbon. Laughter filled the small apartment, a warmth Harold hadn't felt in years. Over turkey and pie, stories flowed. Clara shared her own losses, Emily's father abandoning them. Harold nodded knowingly. "Pain ties us all." That night, as snow fell outside, Harold felt a spark of hope. Emily had become like family, her kindness a ribbon binding his broken heart. But shadows lingered. One day, a letter arrived for Harold from Jack. Emily had secretly tracked him down online, urging reconciliation. "Twist the ends tight, Dad," it read. Tears streamed as Harold read it aloud to Emily. "You did this." She nodded. Everyone deserves a bow. Their bond strengthened, but life threw curves. Mrs. Hargrove announced the bakery sale developers wanted the land for condos. Emily's job, her sanctuary, threatened. Harold rallied, petitioning neighbors. "This place is more than bread, it's community." In the midst of the fight, Harold's health dipped again. Hospitalized, he confided in Emily. "If I go, promise you'll keep writing, keep loving." She promised, tears falling. Spring brought renewal. The bakery was saved, thanks to community outcry. Harold, weaker but spirited, returned. Emily's first book deal came through a collection inspired by him, dedicated to the man who taught me to wrap life with care. As summer bloomed, Harold sat in the bakery, watching Emily thrive. He knew his time was short, but peace filled him. "Thank you," he whispered one day. She hugged him. "No, thank you." Harold's whisper hung in the air like the scent of fresh bread, a testament to the quiet revolutions sparked by simple acts of kindness. But as the days unfolded, an unexpected visitor would upend everything they thought they knew, twisting the narrative in ways neither could foresee. For now, though, the bakery hummed with its usual rhythm, oblivious to the storm brewing. The next morning, Harold shuffled in earlier than usual, his cane tapping against the worn wooden floor. Emily greeted him with a smile, already preparing his loaf. "The usual?" she asked, folding the paper with practiced ease. He nodded, but his eyes darted to the door, as if expecting someone. "Emily, there's something I need to tell you," he began, his voice low. But before he could continue, the bell jingled, and in walked a man in his 50s, salt and pepper hair, a face etched with regret. Jack, Harold's estranged son. Jack's arrival was like a thunderclap in the cozy space. He stood there, suitcase in hand, looking at his father with eyes full of unspoken apologies. "Dad," he said simply, his voice breaking. Harold froze, the bread forgotten. Emily, sensing the tension, busied herself behind the counter, but her heart raced. This was the twist she hadn't anticipated: the prodigal son returning, not just for reconciliation, but with baggage that would reshape their world. Jack explained over coffee, his words tumbling out. He'd been living in the city, buried in work, ignoring the past until Emily's letter pierced his armor. "I couldn't stay away anymore," he admitted. Harold listened, tears welling. "Son, I was wrong too. Pride wrapped us both too tight." They embraced, years of pain unraveling in that moment. Emily watched, moved, but a nagging doubt crept in. "We now, after so long?" As Jack settled in Harold's cottage, helping with chores, the dynamic shifted. He was charming, full of stories from his travels, but Emily noticed inconsistencies. One evening, as they shared dinner, Jack mentioned Martha fondly, but got details wrong. Her favorite flower was roses, not lilies. Harold brushed it off as faded memory, but Emily's writer instincts tingled. She began digging subtly, asking questions that revealed cracks. Meanwhile, the bakery faced new threats. The developers hadn't given up, sending slick lawyers to pressure Mrs. Hargrove. Emily organized rallies, Jack jumping in with surprising enthusiasm, using his business savvy to negotiate. "I've got connections," he boasted. Harold beamed with pride, but Emily wondered, was Jack here for family, or something else? In quiet moments, Emily confided in Clara. "He seems off, Mom." Clara, ever pragmatic, advised caution. "People change, but trust your gut." Emily's writing reflected her turmoil. Her stories now wove intrigue amid the emotion. One night, Harold fell ill again, a fever spiking. Jack insisted on caring for him, but Emily visited, bringing soup wrapped in ribbon. She overheard Jack on the phone. "The old man's place is prime real estate. Once he's gone." Her blood ran cold. Was Jack the developer in disguise? No, that couldn't be. But doubt seeded. Confronting him privately, Emily demanded truth. Jack sighed, revealing the twist. He wasn't just Harold's son. He was in debt, tempted by offers to sell the cottage. But seeing Dad, "I can't do it." Relief washed over her, but the betrayal stung. "You have to tell him," she urged. Jack confessed to Harold, tears flowing. "I came for the wrong reasons, but stayed for the right ones." Harold, hurt but forgiving, hugged him. "We're family. We unwrapped the mess together." The moment was raw, Kitch tin peeking as old wounds reopened and healed. With Jack's help turned genuine, they fought the developers. He used his skills to expose shady deals, saving not just the bakery, but the neighborhood. Emily's book gained traction, dedicating a chapter to this family saga. As bonds mended, a new character emerged unexpectedly: Lila, Jack's daughter, Harold's granddaughter, whom he'd never met. She arrived unannounced, a teenager with Emily's freckles and Martha's spirit. "Grandpa," she said shyly. Harold's eyes lit up, a fresh ribbon of joy. Lila brought youthful energy, helping in the bakery, inspiring Emily's next tales. She shared her own struggles bullying at school, feeling lost. Harold wrapped advice in stories, Emily in encouragement. The family expanded, grief transforming into shared strength. But challenges persisted. Harold's health declined steadily, doctors warning of limited time. The group rallied, creating memories. Picnics with bread wrapped just so, dances in the living room to old records. One poignant evening, under the stars, Harold gathered them. "Life's like bread, nourishing, but fleeting. Wrap it with love." Tears flowed, but so did laughter. Emily's career soared. Her book hit shelves, proceeds funding a community center. Jack redeemed himself, starting a local business. Lila found confidence, tying ribbons of her own. As seasons cycled, Harold's light dimmed, but the legacy burned bright. In the bakery, his photo hung, a reminder of connections forged. Yet, in the midst of healing, another twist loomed: an old letter from Martha, discovered in the attic, revealing a secret that could change everything. The letter trembled in Harold's frail hands, its edges yellowed like forgotten dough left to rise too long. My dearest Harry. It began, Martha's elegant script dancing across the page. There's something I never told you, a part of our story wrapped away for safekeeping. As he read aloud to the gathered family, the words unveiled a hidden truth that would test their newfound unity, infusing the air with a mix of shock and profound humanity. The revelation: Martha had a child before meeting her older daughter, given up for adoption during hard times. I couldn't provide, she wrote, but I hoped she'd find love like ours. The family sat stunned. Emily's mind raced. Who was this woman? Jack clenched his fists, Lila wide-eyed. Harold, voice cracking, murmured, another ribbon to untie. With Harold's blessing, they searched records, Emily's investigative skills shining. Days blurred into nights of phone calls, dead ends, hope flickering like a candle in wind. Harold, bedridden now, found purpose in the quest. Find her, for Martha. Amid the search, tensions arose. Jack doubted the timing. Why now, when Dad's fading? Lila felt overshadowed, a granddaughter competing with a ghost. Emily mediated, her empathy bridging gaps. This is about expanding love, not dividing it. They discovered clues. The daughter, named Rose, lived nearby, adopted by a kind family. Approaching her was delicate. Emily wrote a letter, wrapping it with care, echoing Martha's style. Your mother's love was boundless, it read. Rose responded hesitantly, a woman in her 60s with Martha's eyes. Meeting at the bakery, emotions surged. I always wondered, Rose said, tears falling. Harold embraced her. Welcome home. The reunion was electric. Kitsch tin in its raw honesty, regrets voiced, forgiveness granted. Rose shared her life. A teacher, widowed, with children of her own. She brought photos, stories mirroring Harold's. Mom wrapped gifts the same way. She laughed through sobs. The family grew, Rose's presence a balm. But Harold's condition worsened. Hospital vigils became routine, each member sharing shifts. Emily read from her book. Jack fixed things around the house. Lila drew pictures. Rose sang old lullabies. Harold listened, peace settling. You've all given me more than I deserved. In quieter moments, reflections deepened. Emily pondered how one request for bread had unraveled so much loss. Reunion, redemption. Her writing evolved, capturing the human tapestry. A secondary twist emerged. Rose revealed Martha had left a small inheritance for her, hidden in the cottage. Use it for good, the will stated. They decided on a foundation for adoptees, honoring Martha's secret. As Harold's breaths grew shallow, he gathered them one last time. Life's twists make it rich. Tie your bows tight, but leave room for surprises. He passed peacefully, surrounded by love, the bakery bell tolling in the distance. Grief enveloped them, but so did gratitude. The funeral was a celebration, bread shared, ribbons tied on wrists. Emily spoke. He taught us to wrap pain in kindness, unwrap joy in each other. In the aftermath, the family thrived. Emily's book became a bestseller, proceeds seeding the foundation. Jack mentored Lila, Rose integrated seamlessly. The bakery, now under Emily's ownership, became a hub for stories, each loaf a symbol. Years later, on anniversaries, they'd gather, wrapping bread the way Martha did. To Harold, they'd toast, feeling his presence. The end wasn't an end, but a continuation of love's endless ribbon. No, wait, that couldn't be right. The story didn't end there. Life, like the best tales, always had one more fold. As the family stood in the bakery years on, a young clerk, Lila, now grown, heard an elderly woman ask, "Wrap the bread the way my husband used to." And so the cycle renewed, humanity's threads intertwining forever. But for Harold's legacy, it was complete. Emily, now a renowned author, penned the final chapter. In the end, it's not the bread that sustains us, but the hands that wrap it, the hearts that share it. The book closed, but the emotion lingered, a testament to enduring bonds. Rose's family expanded the circle, grandchildren playing amid flower clouds. Jack found peace in simplicity. Lila pursued art inspired by Grandpa's stories. The foundation helped countless, each success a bow tied in memory. One sunny afternoon, Emily sat outside the bakery, ribbon around her wrist faded but strong. A breeze carried scents of yeast and cinnamon, whispering Martha's laugh, Harold's wisdom. She smiled, knowing the true rap was love, timeless, unbreakable. As patrons came and went, Emily wrapped loaves with care, passing on the ritual. The way it should be, she'd say, evoking that first fateful request. In this small town, the bakery stood as a beacon, proving that from one man's quiet plea could spring a symphony of connection, drama, and profound human value. The story, like life, wrapped up not with finality, but with the promise of more laughter, more tears, more ribbons to tie.